Hiya fishy folks, and welcome back to Michael's Fish Room. Today let's talk about how to acclimate new fish. Grab yourself a healthy snack and a beverage. It could be unhealthy, I don't really care, it's the holiday season. Stand by. Welcome back to the channel, fishy folks. Like I said, today we're going to be talking about how to acclimate new fish. But if you're new here, I just want to introduce myself. My name is Michael from Michael's Fish Room. I run this small YouTube channel. I do breed and import fish that I sell out of my basement fish room. And I have a website where you can buy said fish, michaelsfishroom.com. That out of the way, let's talk about why do you want to acclimate fish and what are the different ways to acclimate fish and pros and cons, tips and tricks, all that good stuff. Okay, so why do we want to acclimate fish? Really to lower their stress level. When fish get stressed, they are much more susceptible to disease and can get sick and not fight off the bad guys as easily as if they were healthy. So we want to minimize the stress when we buy new fish. When you go to the fish store or you order them online, they're going to get scooped out of their home, thrown in a bag, maybe thrown in a box or another bag, then to wherever they're going. Boom! Now you open them up and they're going in a tank and they're like, oh, look at all these new friends. Unfortunately, that is a little stressful for them, so we want to minimize that stress. All right, fishy folks, so there's two main ways to acclimate fish. There's the plop and drop and the drip acclimation method. I'm fine. We're going to talk about the drip acclimation method quickly, and then I'll demonstrate it later. We're going to focus on the plop and drop, however. So the two different methods have two different circumstances on when to use them. Let's say your local fish store is within an hour of your home. You hop in the car, you go to a local fish store, you buy a bunch of fish, you come home, you may want to drip acclimate. However, if you live in East Jabip or West Podunk and there's no fish store close to you, you have to go 3-4 hours to the local fish store, or you have fish shipped in from safe and secure online websites, you're going to want to plop and drop. Now this goes for specifically regular bags, not breather bags. I don't talk about how to acclimate breather bags because I don't use them and I don't really know a whole lot about them. So just keep that in mind. Know what kind of bag you're getting. I will show you a regular bag and the difference between them later on. So if you live in West Podunk and you drive 4 hours to the local fish store, you make it a whole day trip, or you get fish shipped in, you're going to want to plop and drop. And the difference here is simple. When the fish are in the bag, they create ammonia. And they also create CO2 from their oxygen exchange in the water. I almost said breathing, which it kind of is, but it really isn't, but you know what I'm saying. And when they're in that bag for hours, days, if you have them shipped, that ammonia starts to build up. And it's not as toxic as it could be, but when you open the bag, the pH is going to go up, which is going to cause that ammonia to go up. So it's not immediate, but it's rather quick, so you're going to want to act quickly if you have fish shipped in. So let's talk about the plop and drop method. All right, fishy folks, here would be my setup if I was quarantining new fish. It's very important. Don't ever put new fish that you buy, wherever you buy them, into your show tank without quarantining them. Why? When fish are stressed, they can easily, let me rephrase. When fish are stressed, they can more easily get sick. As we said before, shipping fish, buying new fish is stressful for them, so you want to minimize that. If their immune system is depressed a little bit and they get sick and you put them in their main tank, that could infect your entire tank. In addition, whether you buy fish from me or from your local fish store that you trust with your baby's life, always quarantine, because there are some things you cannot see. And so whether you quarantine with meds or without meds, you're going to want to observe them before you put them in your main tank to avoid any issues. Now, this is a simple hospital tank or quarantine tank setup. I'll put a link up here for you on a video I did on how to do it. It's just a simple plastic shoebox from Walmart or Target or Amazon, wherever. I have the USB air pump from Aquarium Co Op, some Aquarium Co Op Airline, and a Never Clog Airstone. There's no filter in here, and this is not cycled, and I'll explain that in a minute. So that's all you need for a quarantine tank. You don't need an extra tank, an extra filter, you know, all that stuff, an extra light. You don't need any of that. This is as simple as you can get, and it'll work. All right. So fish come in, and usually they're in these plastic bags. These bags that sound like this, these are regular bags. Breather bags are much smaller, usually rectangle like this, and they're not crinkly. That's how you tell the difference. Usually they say breather bag on them, or your shipper will tell you it's a breather bag, but just in case, just so you know, you never want to float those because the oxygen exchange goes through the bag. It's, I don't know, it's wizardry. I don't know how it works, but it does. I'm fine. But let's say you order some of these sexy black metal ace guppies from michaelsfishroom.com. They come in the mail, you're all excited. You go, you open the box, you're like, it's a little cold. They're a little pale. That's normal. You always want to temperature acclimatize them. And that simply is making the temperature in the bag the same as the tank. And to do that, you simply float them. Now again, you never want to do this with breather bags, but regular bags, that's what you would do. These are the other fish I ordered. These are the platinum green mosaics. They're quite pale because they just came in from the mail. But we are going to drip acclimatize these, and I'll show you that in a minute. Now, once these get to temperature, okay, hold on. I just want to say this. Don't overthink it. You could get a temperature gun and check the bag and check the water and make sure there's, don't overthink it. Simply place it in the bag, place it in the tank, feel it. Oh, it's the same? Good. Done. Okay? Don't overthink it. It doesn't have to be exact. Hey. Once you get them temperature acclimatized, 20 minutes, half an hour at most, then we're going to plop and drop. All right, fishy folks, here's how you plop and drop. You need a few things. A bucket and a net. Now, I use this clip to hold the net on so I can do it by myself and not worry about anything falling. Any net is fine. It doesn't have to be a special net. Now, whether you're plop and dropping or drip acclimatizing, you don't want the water from the bag going in your tank. It could contain pathogens. It could be high in ammonia. You just don't want to put it in the tank. So eventually, if you drip acclimate, you're still going to plop and drop at the end. You'll see. So I like to use scissors because it's just easier that way. You take the bag, you simply cut the top. That's it. Then you pour them into the net. So you're plopping them out of the net. And then you would simply drop them into the tank. That's it. Now, some people like to turn the lights off, especially if you have aggressive fish. I don't do aggressive fish, so I don't really know. I'm fine. It doesn't hurt to shut the lights off for a day. It probably helps for aggressive fish, but guppies typically aren't aggressive, so you don't have to worry about that. The other question I get a lot is do you feed them right away? Yes, I do, because they're probably hungry. All my new fish get Dr. Basileur's Forte, which is designed to help their tummy troubles when they're new. I get all mine from KJE Aquatics. He's got a sale going on right now. Check out the coupon code right below. I don't think the sale covers fish food, but lots of aquarium supplies over at KJE Aquatics. So I do feed them right away pretty much, and then I just observe them in their quarantine tank. Now I know what you're thinking, but Mike, the tank's not cycled. Why? Well, 2 guppies have a very, very small bioload. I'm not overly concerned. In addition, I'm going to throw some meds in my quarantine tank. That video is up here for you as well. That may destroy any beneficial bacteria that was in the tank. So I'm going to start over from a cycle pretty much right away anyway. And that's how you do it. Plop and drop. It's not that hard. Don't overthink it. All right, let's talk about drip acclimation. Stand by. All right, folks, we are here with the green platinum mosaics. You can see they've colored up quite nicely since they've temperature acclimatized. I'm just going to show you the drip acclimation method. I don't ever do this, even if I buy fish local. I just always find plop and drop works for me. Now, I don't typically buy, carry, sell, breed very sensitive fish. You know, if you buy Chinese discus, you're going to want to drip acclimatize because they're weak. The German discus are quite a bit better if you ask me, but I'm no expert. But even with rams, which can be slightly more sensitive than, you know, live bearers, guppies, or whatever, I don't I don't drip acclimatize. I always plop and drop. The key here is temperature acclimatization first, and then we plop and drop. And so how do we drip acclimatize? Well, the same thing goes. You're going to want to cut the bag open, right? And this is, again, if your fish store is local, and you know, maybe they're in the bag for an hour, hour and a half, anything longer than that, I would always plop and drop. But now you got to float the bag still. I like to use my handy dandy clip like I did before with the tank. Simply hold the bag like that. You don't have to worry about them spilling out. Now, if you're going to do an aggressive species, I'm just going to lower this so you can, I'm going to leave it like that. I'm actually going to raise it so you can see what's going on more. All right, so here's how we drip acclimate. The temperature in the bag is the same as the water in the tank. You're going to just take a little vessel. I'm using this little dip and pour that's got that nice crack on it. I'm going to take some water, and every 10 minutes, 5-10 minutes, I'm just going to pour a little in. That's it. All right, fishy folks, those are your two acclimation methods. Now, I just want to talk about the hospital tank wasn't cycled, and I know you're thinking to yourself, but it wasn't cycled. So what? Aren't they going to die? No. So that hospital tank had, I don't know, half a gallon of water in it, and the bioload is really small, a pair of guppies. Now, if you're doing more, you might want to plan different, but I always do this. Set up your hospital tank, put your fish in, and you're going to feed light anyway because there's only a pair of guppies or whatever you have. And they're new, so you don't want to overload them with, food. But do a fish and cycle. It's easy. Simply follow my fish and cycle method using, Fritz Complete or Seachem Prime to neutralize the ammonia or nitrite, and you're fine. And the reason why you want to do that is, like I said before, the meds that I use in my quarantine process can affect the beneficial bacteria that help keep the tank cycled. So instead of worrying about one other thing, I have new fish, and I have to worry about them getting ammonia burn from an ammonia spike because the tank's not cycled. Just do the fish and cycle. A couple more tips and tricks for you. I like to use those clips that I showed you to hold the net, to hold the bag. I use them all the time in the fish room. They're everywhere. It's real important to feed your new fish when they arrive because they're gonna be hungry. Again, I like the Dr. Basilier's Forte by my and all at KJE Aquatics. And lastly, if you're doing aggressive fish, I don't know much about them, you probably will want to shut the lights out to help them with the aggression. Any comments or questions, as always, leave them down below. Check out my website, michaelsfishroom.com. We are shipping all winter. Probably not the week between Christmas and New Year's because nobody works really. And as long as it's warm enough, we will ship. So check out the website. Let me know if you have any questions. Have a great day. I'm fine. So why do you want to acclimate fish? Well, when you buy new fish from a fish store, there's a couple of things. First of all, it's very stressful for them. They get scooped up, thrown in a bag, thrown in another bag, thrown in the car, then they get home and, oh my God, look at all these new friends I have to make, right? So we want to try to minimize the stress. Your local fish store isn't close because you live in West Podunk or East Jabip, and you have to drive 3 hours to your local fish store, and you're not going right home. You're not going to want to plop and drop. I mean, you're not going to, oh my God, I suck at this. I really do. I'm so bad. And here's how you drip. So you're going to want to use the drip acclimation method. Oh, Jesus. All right, let's talk about drip acclimation. This is another species, not species, that's dumb.